What's up, guys? A short NBA slate and only a couple of NCAA games to cover here on Tuesday, March 26th. Let's get in here and find some value. The Monday NBA games haven't finished up, but so far things are looking pretty decent. Cleveland easily got the win and cover for us. That Boston game, man, that was a weird one. Anybody that saw that straight up loss coming for them, you must be some kind of wizard. Washington against Chicago, both teams shot under 42%, really bucking a huge trend for Chicago in the over, so we did not get that one. Detroit in the points we were able to dodge, but that over hit, so that's pretty annoying. That game just overall did not work out the way we thought it would, with both of them sitting out. We actually thought both of them would play, so it's the NBA. What are you going to do? Houston easily covered that 9.5 for us with a little spurt there in the second half. That was pretty solid. And Phoenix against San Antonio, that under was good as gold. We still got Dallas to go and Memphis and Denver for the under, so we'll see how those work out. But so far, so good tonight. Go ahead and smash that thumbs up button if you like seeing these picks every day, and subscribe to the channel. Things have been amazing lately, but over 75% of viewers aren't subscribed. It's 100% free and will keep you from missing these picks. Our videos are sponsored by StumpTheSpread.com. Click the link in the description to go over there and join our free email list, and check out our top confidence plays on all the major sports. Comment below to let us know how your bracket is looking heading into the Sweet 16 and where you are looking with all of your bets for today, or anything else you want to say about these picks, these videos, or anything you see here. Let me know if you like this mix of NBA and NCAA picks in one video when there isn't enough college basketball, or would you like to see something else? I respond to every single comment, and I'll give you my best advice on your picks to help us all cash some more bets. Now let's get into our first game of the day, Golden State against Miami. Golden State comes into this game fresh off of a very tough, very close loss to the Minnesota Timberwolves, and they need to be in desperation mode right now. They're currently sitting in the 10 seed in the Western Conference, and the Houston Rockets are only a half game behind them. The Warriors just have not been the same this season. Things aren't working out. Steve Kerr is trying to play Steph a few less minutes, and that kind of backfired. I mean, you're losing to the Timberwolves, a very tough team, but when you're only losing by 4 points, that does feel like a game that maybe you could have found a way to pull out a win. Up and down the roster, this team just is not as good as they've been in seasons past. In that loss at Minnesota, we saw Steph go off for 31 points and not get a whole lot of other help. Wiggins actually had a decent shooting night, which is extremely rare for him as of late. Kuminga wasn't as effective as we would like to see him. He only played 30 minutes in that game. Would have been good to see him get some more run there, I think. He's a young player. He could stand up to more minutes for sure. Klay Thompson was decent, but not amazing off the bench. 3 for 11 from 3 isn't exactly something I'm going to throw a parade about. The Warriors lost on the boards, but not in like devastating fashion. They shot almost 40% from 3-point range, but their defense was terrible. The Timberwolves absolutely shot the lights out in that game and took them down. When your opponent makes 21 of 43s, you're not going to win very many of those games. The Warriors just did not have really any answer at all for defending on the perimeter, which could be a problem heading into this game against the Heat. We'll have to see about that one though. Golden State does really need to be in desperation mode right now. For this game, it looks like they should be pretty much fully healthy. Trace Jackson Davis is listed as day-to-day, and he's technically questionable for this game with right knee soreness. I think they definitely need him out there if there's any way he can go, and I think it's fairly likely we see him play in this game. The Miami Heat come into this one fresh off a win over the Cavaliers. They won 2 of their last 3, with both of those wins coming against the Cavaliers. The other game in that stretch was a blowout loss to the New Orleans Pelicans. Miami comes into this game, they're hanging around in the Eastern Conference. They're currently sitting in the 7th seed, but they're only a half game back of the Pacers for that 6th seed, so that's a battle that's going to be very interesting to watch down the stretch. Miami's been dealing with some health problems all season long, pretty much. Right now, Tyler Hero is still listed as out. I don't think we'll see him back still from his foot injury. He's been officially ruled out for this game. Duncan Robinson has also been ruled out, so they're still going to not have his shooting in the lineup. Jaime Jaquez is listed as questionable with his knee issue. It's very uncertain whether he's going to play or not. There's really no clarity on that at this time. And Caleb Martin, he's listed as questionable with his ankle issue. There's a chance he could play in this game, but once again, we don't really know. The Heat usually play their injury reports pretty close to the vest. You really don't know who's going to be suiting up coming up to game time. Most importantly right now, though, it looks like Jimmy and Bam are both healthy and going to be playing in this game. Those are the 2 that we can really count on in this roster, and they need to be out there for this team to have a chance of winning games. The Heat have been having a hard time lately. They're only 4-6 over their last 10 games. That's actually identical to the Warriors, who are also 4-6 over their last 10 games. Golden State just has not been looking great, but they have some positive trends on their side. The Warriors are a league best 22-11 against the spread playing on the road, and Miami is a almost league worst 13-21 against the spread playing at home. On the against the spread side, we're definitely looking at the Warriors -2.5 in this one. They play really well on the road, and they should be in desperation mode against a shorthanded Heat squad. Looking at the over-under for this game, it's 218.5. My lean to this one is slightly to the under. We see Miami is a huge under team. They're 63.4% to the under this season overall. That's absolutely insane. It's a league best number number when you're looking at the under, and just in general, offense has been trending down in the NBA as the refs have been instructed to let the players play a little bit more and to not reward offensive players for just charging into defenders and throwing their hands up. The Warriors are unfortunately only 48.6% to the under this season, so I'm not going to say the under is an absolute lock. I like the Warriors minus 2.5 in this one, and if you want to sprinkle the under in that, I like it pretty much too. Next up, we've got the Los Angeles Lakers going on the road to take on the Milwaukee Bucks. News just broke about 4 hours ago that LeBron is listed as doubtful for this game. He's unlikely to play against the Bucks with ankle soreness. I don't know really how you know that your ankle is too sore to play the day before the game, but apparently he knows. The Lakers come into this one winners of 3 in a row. They won a absolute shootout against the Pacers their last time out, winning 150 to 145. What a game for the over-bettors. The Lakers come into this one, they are in a pretty solid spot. They're nearly locked into that 9 seed in the West, so they're clearly going to be in the play-in tournament, but they're also clearly ahead of the Warriors and the Rockets in that stretch run there for the 10 seed. LeBron not playing in this game looks like a really bad thing for the Lakers, but actually they are 5-4 without LeBron straight up this season, so that's an interesting thing to look at. Coming into this game, it looks like the Lakers are relatively healthy aside from the LeBron situation, and he's only doubtful. That would be a kind of very LeBron move for him to say that he's unlikely to play and then end up playing in this game anyway, so you're going to want to monitor that news, those injury reports leading up to game time on this one. It's going to be very, very interesting, very, very close. Generally speaking, the Lakers have been playing pretty well lately. They've gone 6-4 over their last 10 games. They have won their last 3 in a row, but the Lakers have not been a great road team against the spread this season, only 13-19 on the road. This team does have the pieces to play well without LeBron, especially if Anthony Davis can come alive, but I'm really looking at D'Angelo Russell here. If you get a chance to hop on some D'Angelo Russell overs in the prop streets, those could be pretty good. Also Anthony Davis overs. I could see some Rui Hachimura overs being good, things like that. Maybe take a glance at Spencer Dinwiddie. He should see a little bit of a bump in his usage rate and his overall production. And they're going up against a Milwaukee Bucks team that is not known for their defensive play, at least not this season, but things have been changing a little bit here down the stretch. The Bucks have actually won the last 2 in a row, and they're 6-4 in their last 10 overall. This team seems like they're going to hang on to that number 2 spot out in the East, which is great for them. It makes sure they can avoid Boston as long as possible there in the playoffs. Middleton and Giannis are both listed as day-to-day for this game, but it looks like they're more like probable. I think both of them will end up playing. I think I can say that with a large degree of confidence. Yeah, Giannis is actually listed as probable with his hamstring thing, so it seems like he will definitely be out there, and that's the most important guy for the Bucks. Obviously, Milwaukee has been getting wins against solid teams. They played the Celtics very, very close. Their last time out, they won convincingly against the Oklahoma City Thunder. That was a great win. Might be the Bucks' best win of the season. It's definitely way up there, though. It's definitely one of their best wins here in the second half of the season. This team has just been playing better overall. They've been playing some better defense. Dame's been a little bit more aggressive offensively. Everything in general is looking up for the Milwaukee Bucks. We see the Lakers are 13-19 against the spread playing on the road this season. The Bucks are only 17-17-1 against the spread at home, but they've been playing so much better lately, and we see the Lakers playing without LeBron. Guys, I don't really know which way to go against the spread in this game. If you force me to bet this one, I'm probably going to take the Bucks to win and cover playing at home, but like I said, it's a tough one, and it's a weird situation with LeBron sitting out. Looking at the over-under in this game, it's 233.5. Lakers are second best in the league with a 55% to the over this season. The Bucks are only 48.6% to the over, and we've been seeing such low-scoring games lately. And with LeBron sitting out, I think that actually might help the Lakers' defense a little bit. I would tend to lean towards the under in this game, actually. I know that sounds weird with the Lakers being a good team to the over, but the Bucks are a borderline good team to the under, so that's my lean in this one. I'm not going to be on this game too big unless I hear some interesting news about whether or not LeBron is going to be playing. Next up, we got the Oklahoma City Thunder going on the road to take on the New Orleans Pelicans. The Thunder are in a bounce-back spot after just getting blown out, basically, playing at Milwaukee in their last game. The Thunder were healthy for that one, and they're healthy coming into this game, so it's a little bit concerning that they had such a poor showing against the Bucks, but like I said, that puts them squarely in bounce-back territory. Obviously, we all know about how well SGA has been playing, how well Chet Holmgren's been playing in his effective rookie season this time, but in that terrible showing against the Bucks, they really all looked pretty bad across the board. We saw SGA score only 12 points. I wonder how many times this season his point total has been that low. I would be willing to wager not very many times. Chet Holmgren was absolutely terrible. The only player that actually played well was Josh Giddey, who shot the ball well from 3. If he can start doing that, it can completely change how teams will have to defend this team in the playoffs, so that would be a huge deal, but we don't think that one good shooting night from him really means that things are suddenly turning around for him outside of the arc. In the loss, the Thunder did not have any sort of answer for Giannis. Dame only scored 11 points in that game, so he's in a little bit of a bounce back spot. We saw Bobby Portis play really well off the bench. In general, the Bucks only shot 32.4% from three-point range, but they shot well over 50% from inside the arc. That's a little bit concerning when you look at the teams that the Thunder are going to have to play in the playoffs. Speaking of teams they might face in the playoffs, they're going up against the New Orleans Pelicans. New Orleans is playing great. They find themselves sitting in the 5 seed in the West. Brandon Ingram dodged a major knee injury. It apparently is only like a bone bruise in his knee, which can be a little bit tricky. You never know when he's really going to be able to come back from that, but I think the assumption is that it's going to be relatively soon. Regardless though, like I said, they've been playing well lately. They've won their last 2 in a row, 8 of 10 overall. This team is pretty much locked into the 4 or 5 seed in the West. They would obviously like to catch the Clippers to give themselves home court advantage in the first round, and I think that's one of the reasons why they've been playing so well lately. This team is healthy coming into this game, with the exception of Brandon Ingram, obviously, but when you're running out a lineup that's got McCollum, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, Zion, and Valanciunas in there, you've got a pretty good starting 5 on your hands. This team has some depth. It's not amazing depth, but I'll give them a little bit of a plus for having a decent bench unit. The last time out, the Pelicans went into Detroit and got a comfortable win. They won by 13 points. That was a game that was never really in doubt. The Pelicans were up by almost 20 points in the first quarter. New Orleans didn't even shoot the ball that well from range in that game. They only went 11 for 34 from deep. They only went 21 of 31 from the free throw line too. That's a little bit of a concern. We saw Zion go off for 36 points though. That is a great sign. He's healthy, not having any foot problems, not having any injury problems. He's jumping out of the gym. He's starting to look a little bit more like that Zion we saw at Duke University back in the day. Hopefully he can keep that up into the playoffs. I really want to see a big dose of playoff Zion. I want it to be an exciting deal for him down the stretch. In this game though, we're looking at the Pelicans. They're +1 in this game. New Orleans is 19-14 against the spread at home this season. The Thunder are 18-16-1 against the spread on the road. In this game, I'm leaning towards the Pelicans. I know they're not at full strength, but without Brandon Ingram in there, I think their ball movement is a little bit better. There's nobody on the Thunder that can really guard Zion. He's going to just blow Chet Holmgren off of every spot that he wants to be on. Can the Pelicans really defend SGA? That's going to be a concern. He may score some points in this one, but I don't think it'll be enough. Give me New Orleans +1 at home in this game. When we're looking at the over-under in this one, it's 226.5. We see that the Thunder are 53.7% to the over, but the New Orleans Pelicans are 57% to the under. They're one of the better teams to the under in the league this season. Sure, the Thunder are coming off of a poor shooting performance, but just in general, unders have been so good lately in the NBA, with the refs really not giving the benefit to the offensive player nearly as much as they were in the beginning of the season. So we're going to take a little taste of the under in this one. I don't think it's going to be a massively high-scoring game, and there could be a little bit of a playoff feel to it, which will all lead to a little bit less offense. In the last game of the night, we're looking at the Dallas Mavericks going up against the Sacramento Kings. Both of these teams are going to be playing on no rest. The Mavs are currently playing at Utah. Right now, they're going to have to play at Utah and then fly to Sacramento. Not a long flight, so not a ton of travel for them. The Sacramento Kings are currently playing at home against Philadelphia, so the Kings will be playing on back-to-back nights, but they will not have had to travel at all. Dallas has really been hitting their stride lately. They've been playing great. They came into the game against the Jazz looking healthy and playing well. They've won 7 of the last 10 overall, and they had a 3-game winning streak going into that game against Utah, which right now is very competitive, but we're hoping that we'll see Dallas pull away here in the fourth quarter. Luka has been absolutely on fire. Kyrie's been playing well. Up and down the roster, this team has just been looking really good. And they're going to need to continue to look really good if they want to play their way out of that 7 seed up into the 6th seed and avoid the play-in tournament in the Western Conference. Obviously, that's something they're going to really want to avoid. You don't want to be in a play-in tournament that's going to have some mix of Steph Curry, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Booker, and KD. Like, it's going to be an absolutely insane play-in tournament. You don't want to be part of that total anarchy. We see that the Mavs are a very solid 21-12 against the spread on the road this season. That's second best in the league. They're also 8-3 against the spread, playing on no rest. This team is in a pretty good spot going to take out on the Kings, who are right now playing a very close game against the Philadelphia 76ers. Domantas Sabonis has been on an absolute rampage lately. He's playing some of the best ball of his career. He's bullied elite players like Anthony Davis, who he is still undefeated against. The Kings find themselves mired in that whole race to avoid the play-in tournament in the West. They're right there with the Mavs. This is a huge game for these two teams in determining which one of them will have a better chance at missing that play-in tournament. They want to get into that 6th seed very badly. The Kings have won 7 of the last 10 overall. They're not exactly a great defense defensive team this season. That hasn't really been their calling card, but they've definitely improved from last season where they really couldn't defend their way out of a paper bag. Right now, it looks like De'Aaron Fox is having a really bad night playing against the 76ers. It's early in the game, but he only has 7 points deep into the second quarter, so this could be something of a bounce back spot for him if he continues to struggle in that game. We see the Kings come into this one. They are 13-20 against the spread at home, and they're only 4-8 against the spread on no rest. Those are pretty suspect numbers. I'm not feeling very good about the Kings in this spot. We see Dallas is getting 2 points. Obviously, you're going to want to wait and make sure that both Luka and Kyrie are playing in this game, but if they are, we love Dallas. This is probably going to be our biggest bet of the day. Dallas +2, +1, or straight up. We love all of those. That's going to be one of our biggest bets against the spread in this one. All the trends point to Dallas, and they're playing great. The over-under in this game is 237.5. That's a pretty big number. We see Dallas is 52% to the under, and that Sacramento is just over 50% to the under this season. Both these teams are going to be a little bit tired. I think that's going to lead to some poor shot making. Give me the under in this game too. It's not going to be my bigger bet, but I definitely like the under trend in this one a decent amount. Switching things up a little bit, guys, we're going to cover the 2 NIT games that are going on here on Tuesday. First up, we've got Georgia taking on Ohio State. They're playing this game in Columbus, Ohio. They got the home win by 2 points over Xavier, so a very, very tight squeeze. Then they went on the road and took down Wake Forest 72-66. That's an impressive road win. Georgia's playing well. They did not really excel going into the end of their regular season. Missed out on the NCAA tournament, but they seemed more than happy to accept that NIT spot, and they've run with it here, winning 2 games. In the win over Wake Forest, we saw Thomason go off. He made 5 of 8 from 3-point range. The Bulldogs in general shot nearly 52% from 3, knocking down 14 of their 27 attempts. They played even on the boards, which their rebounding is a little bit of a concern for us coming into this game against Ohio State. They haven't been a great rebounding team, but they also haven't been a terrible rebounding team. Their defense has been decent here in the tournament. It wasn't exactly great there to end the season, giving up 85 points to Florida, but just in general, this Georgia team, they haven't been too bad, and they've been very good against the spread in general. Ohio State comes into this game, taking down Cornell in a fairly close one. They only won by 5, and then getting a solid 8-point win over Virginia Tech. Ohio State wasn't a team I necessarily thought would care very much about the NIT. Obviously, they had bigger aspirations, and they were a team that was close to making it into the NCAA tournament. In that win over Virginia Tech, we saw Battle score 21 points, 17 of which came at the free throw line. We saw 32 free throw attempts for the Buckeyes. That is a lot of calls, guys. They were not shooting the ball well from 3-point range. They were not shooting the ball well from the field in general. They did have 4 starters scoring double figures, but so many of those points came from the line. Absolutely crazy officiated game. You never really know what you're going to get in college basketball, but this one was a weird one. Looking at the spread in this one, it's Ohio State minus 8.5. That seems like an awful lot of points to me. We're going to be rolling with Georgia. They're 20-14-1 against the spread this season. Ohio State's only 17-17-1. Ohio State might get the win in this game. I know they're going to be playing at home. I'm sure there'll be a pretty good home crowd there, even though it's just an NIT game. But give me Georgia. I think they find a way to keep this game close, especially if Utah doesn't get to shoot 30 or 40 free throws in the game like they did against Virginia Tech. Last but not least, we've got Cincinnati going up against Indiana State. The Cincinnati Bearcats have knocked off San Francisco by a single point and then got a blowout win over Bradley to head into the NIT quarterfinals. Cincinnati, in general, they had a pretty decent season in the Big 12. 7-11 obviously isn't the kind of record that's going to get you in the NCAA tournament, but this team has been thriving using their rebounding and their elite defense to grind out some wins. They did struggle with the San Francisco Dons in the first round of the NIT. They needed overtime to get past the Dons in that one, and they only won by a single point, but hey, they got the job done. In that win over Bradley, they seem to have their heads on straight, not be worried about the fact they didn't make the NCAA tournament anymore. They were just locked in, and they locked down Bradley. They didn't allow more than 30 points in either half. They held Bradley to 37% shooting from the field. This team can really play some defense. Indiana State has looked very, very good here in the NIT. They've won both of their games very convincingly, taking down SMU and then taking down Minnesota by 12 points. The Sycamores are a team I feel like we were really robbed of getting to see in the big dance. They really deserve to be in there. We're missing out on seeing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, less well known as Robbie Avila. In the win over Minnesota, we saw the Sycamores struggle shooting the ball from 3. Not something you normally say about this team. They did lose the battle of the boards, but they still managed to win this game thanks to playing solid defense and to 4 of their starters scoring double figures. This is not a deep team. I don't think that's a great thing to have going on when you're going up against a athletic, rugged squad like Cincinnati. The Bearcats are getting 3 points in this one. I know Indiana State is great against the spread, and they're very, very good playing at home this season, so despite Cincinnati maybe being somewhat of a tough matchup for them, give me Indiana State minus 3 as a small lean in this game. It's not going to be one of my bigger bets of the day. I'm a little bit worried I might be betting with my heart in this one, but give me the Sycamores at home. All the trends point to them. I know Cincinnati might be more athletic, but I think Indiana State finds a way. That's all the games we have for today, guys. Hit the like button for good luck on all of your bets, and subscribe if you're new. Let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. Thanks for watching. You can click the link in the description to check out stumpthespread.com, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for more sports betting action.